up? Welcome into your Daily Buckeye Blitz for a Labor Day Monday, September 2nd, 2024. Hope you had a good weekend of college football, week one. Feels so good to have it back. Feels so good. So today we're talking offense, the Buckeye offense, stats, grades. I'll give you my grades. Tomorrow we'll talk all defense. So we're going to run through every position and give you the grades, blocking, receiving, rushing, everything. We're going to talk about Will Howard's depth chart, his passing depth chart here. But first, let's get into it. Please hit like and subscribe. Leave your letter grades in the comments. I would like to know what you think. So let's kick it off here. Looking at the team stats overall, 24 first downs. That's good. Third down efficiency is another area where this is a recurring theme from last year. We were not good at short yardage and third downs. 9 of 14. Got to be better than that. That's just over 50%. And 0 for 1 on fourth downs. Got to be much better than that. So, yeah. Sorry, my browser just decided to start showing me pop-up ads for some reason. Anyway, so 0 for 1, 9 of 14. Got to do better on the conversions. Total yards 404, 234 through the air, 170 on the ground. That's a nice 5.2 average on 33 carries. So, yeah. Penalties, he had 7 for 45. The big one was on IGB early in the game there. Called for jumping on the pile, basically, but at least he didn't get the targeting. And then we had a few across the offensive line, So I'm sorry, my browser is acting up. So anyway, those are the team stats. We'll get in here to the player stats real quick before I launch this laptop out the freaking window. So let's go to passing, and we'll talk about Will Howard's depth. He had 29 dropbacks, 27 attempts, 17 completions, 228 yards, an 8.4 yard average, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Excellent day for the big man. Did have the one bonehead. They called it a fumble, but it was a lateral backwards at the end of the half there, trying to make something out of nothing. Probably should have just eaten it. Devin Brown did get in just for 3 pass attempts. He completed 1 for 6 yards. So not a lot of action there for the backup quarterbacks. I was expecting to see more of them, but if the first half would have gone a little bit more as planned, maybe we would have seen 3 quarterbacks in, So let's look at Devin Brown's pressure and depth. So he was kept clean pretty much most of the day. I think they only allowed 1 pressure. The offensive line did. We'll get into those guys. But on 26 dropbacks, he was kept clean. And those were the 3 that he completed touchdowns and most of his yardage. He was under pressure on 3 dropbacks. Did complete 1 pass on 2 attempts. He was blitzed just 8 times with that pressure. So they did use a little bit of play action. Ohio State did 13 dropbacks. They used play action. He completed 8 passes there, 2 touchdowns, by the way. But the passing depth, this is what's interesting to me. Only attempted 2 deep balls. I think you're going to see the Buckeyes stretch the field more going forward. Again, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but you weren't going to see the entire Buckeye offense in one game. All right. Chip is going to trickle things out over the first few weeks, evenly distribute some things in the run game and the pass game. So you're going to see new things every week. You can't just throw it all out there in 1 week. They only had like 64 total plays on offense. So you got to you got to stick to your game plan of how you want to move the ball down the field and score. So he did that. You will see some new wrinkles, though, for sure, in the pass and run game. So just 2 attempts deep. Did complete the 145-yarder to JJ Jeremiah Smith. And then medium is really where he did his damage, and around the line of scrimmage. He had eight attempts, 6 completions at 10 to 19 yards. 0 to 9, he had 8 attempts, completed 5. And then behind the line of scrimmage, 7 attempts, completed 5. But that 10 to 9, let's go 0 to 20. Between 0 and 20 is really where Will Howard did all of his damage. He had 147 yards just in that range, 16 attempts, 11 completions. So that's where he really felt most comfortable. Let's see, they went deep left on the one deep ball, deep right on the other that did not get completed. And then the intermediate stuff was spread around to the left, center, and middle right of the field. So no real crazy differences there across the board. So all in all, I think Will Howard made the right decisions, got the Buckeyes out of bad plays, made good passes. I'm not sure he was inaccurate. He did get Emeka laid out a couple times for incomplete passes, but there's not much you can do when there's, one guy when Emeka is covered by one guy, you assume that you're going to complete that with any of the Buckeye receivers, right? Especially Jeremiah. So, the 3 touchdowns, excellent day, very efficient, and not a lot of. I don't have really any complaints. Couple scrambles there, picked up a first down, kept the chains moving. So they only used him in the run game once, I believe. Three, one scramble and 2 runs. So they didn't really feel the need to bring the QB run completely, open it up, and have him take unnecessary shots. Let's look at the rushing grades here. Quinshawn led the way with 15 snaps at running back, 13 attempts, 55 yards, 4.2 yard average, and the touchdown. Travion, 9 attempts, 55 yards, 6.1 yard average. James Peoples, 6 attempts, got the touchdown. He had 30 yards total for a 5-yard average. SWD, Sam Williams Dixon, got 1 for 4. Devin Brown had 1 for -2, and Will Howard had the 3 for 28. Forced missed tackles, though, that's one of those stat categories I love when we're talking running backs. Quinshawn led the way with 5. He had to do a lot of it on his own with some of the O-line issues. We're going to talk O-line, of course. But 5 missed tackles. Travion led the way with the only carry over 15 yards. He had a 21-yarder. 4 forced missed tackles. James Peoples with 3. So very nice. That's a good start for the running backs. Let's look at receivers here. Jeremiah led the way with 8 targets, 6 receptions, had that big drop, on the first drive. Probably would still be running, that tunnel screen was wide ass open. Anyways, on his 6 receptions, 92 yards, 2 touchdowns, a nice 15.3 yard average. Emeka, 7 targets, 4 catches, 51 yards, got screwed on the touchdown there on the right sideline in the end zone where he came down on his hand. He had possession. They said the ball moved when he came to the ground. I call bullshit on that. That should have been a touchdown for Emeka. Carnell Tate had a nice day. 5 targets, 4 completions, 58 yards, and the touchdown. Nice 34-yard catch and run. And Travion, 2 receptions, 18 yards. Ballard, 1 reception, 6 yards. So Bryson Rogers chipped in 1 catch for 9. So all in all, kind of a quiet day for the receivers, but they were lined up all over the field. Lining up in the slot is like Ryan Day's way to spotlight a player and get a favorable matchup. I need a drink of water. Fuck. So you had Jeremiah Smith in the slot 7 times, Emeka 20 times, Carnell Tate twice, Travion once, Will Kazmarek, the tight end, 3 times, but Brandon Innes 7 times lined up in the slot, and Bryson Rogers 5 times. So that's something to keep an eye on in the future. Um, let's see what else. Let's talk blocking grades. Suddenly, the show took a turn for the worse. No, the grades are not horrible. Just to kind of brace yourselves, pass blocking was definitely the strength of this offensive line unit on Saturday. We'll start with left tackle Josh Simmons, 76.5. That's good. Remember, 60 is just doing your job. Josh Fryer, though, over on the right side is getting into that danger zone at 64.9. You're concerning me when you're down in the 60s. Center, Seth McLaughlin, 71.2, solid. And then the guards, Austin Sarabeld, filling in for Donovan Jackson, an 80.6. Now that's a hell of a grade for a first-time starter. He's only a redshirt freshman, second-year guy. And then you had Tegra Shabola, a 79.1, excellent. His first start as a Buckeye offensive lineman. You did have Carson Hinsman go in there. He had 5 pass block and 5 run block snaps each. 76.6 in the pass. We'll get to his run blocking here in a second. But anyways, McLaughlin did allow a pressure on the quarterback. Travion allowed a pressure. And Quinshon allowed a pressure. So our pass protection is ass right now by the running backs. Trey, yeah, he had one big highlight where he knocked a linebacker on his ass. But the rest of the time he allowed a hurry, and Quinshon graded out a 7.9 out of 100. I've never seen that a score that low. So anyways, for what it's worth, he was only in there for 2 pass blocking snaps, and you see why. Trey, a 22.8, that's terrible too, but he was only in there for 3 pass blocking snaps. Now the run blocking. This is where we're going to include the tight ends and receivers also. So let's go run blocking snaps here. We'll start with the tackles again. Josh Simmons, a 62.2. It's not going to get it done. You got to be better than that. Josh Fryer, the right tackle, 55.3. That's terrible, horrible. Got to improve. Then we'll go to the center. Seth McLaughlin, 75.9. Very good. Keep it up. Then we'll go to the guards. Tegra Shabola, 66.6. You're getting into that danger zone. Under 70 concerns me. Austin Sarabeld, again, the 2 first-time starters. Sarabeld is 66.2. So, again, you need to get those grades up with Tegra and Sarabeld. Then we got to talk about tight ends here. Will Kazmarek was good, 69.8. So you're up close to 70 there. G. Scott Jr., 72.0. All right. Will Kazmarek was in for 11 run blocking snaps. G was in for 8. Where is Jelani? Yes, Jelani is a problem. This is why he's not getting a lot of action. He was in for 7 run blocking snaps, graded out at 44.7. You're not going to get playing time with that, dude. And you're definitely not going to get balls thrown to you. So, yeah, tight ends need to improve, especially Jelani. Receivers need to improve here. We know this has been an issue for years. Carnell Tate led the way with all the receivers, 64.8. It's good for a receiver. Still needs to be better. Emeka has never been a good blocker on the perimeter, 54.5. He's got to get better than that. Jeremiah, 33.8. I know you're a monster freaky guy with the ball in your hands and going up for it, but you still got to block, man. I mean, the running backs are chipping in on pass protection. Well, didn't look like it, but anyways, they're trying. So let's see some effort in the run game by the receivers. You know, It's a two-way street there. 33.8 is terrible. So hopefully Brian Hartline gets on it for that. And Brandon Ennis, a 60.7, not bad. Let's continue to get those up. He was only in for 8 running plays. So a lot of areas to work on in the run game. But again, this Akron defense had 8 in the box most plays. They're daring you to run it. We still try to run it, not to much success. So, you got 2 first-time starters at both guard positions. That makes life difficult as well. So we'll see how things improve. They might have missed some calls, some protection calls from the center. Maybe they got things screwed up. I don't know. But having 2 first-time starters out there, they're going to improve. This offensive line is going to get better. They weren't horrible. They just got to improve, and they got to come together as one unit. That's hard to do when your 3-year starter at left guard is out, So hopefully we get Jackson back and he's 100%. And I think you'll see this offensive line really start to take shape. So what else? Is that it? I think that's about it. We'll in the future we'll start talking about where the Buckeyes offense is ranking nationally. Right now, if you go points per play, we're 4th in the country at 0.813. So as the season gets going, we'll keep an eye on some of these things. One big game on the scoreboard really doesn't do you justice on how the offense is scoring. So, and we'll track the defense as well. But that's all I got for you today. Oh, I got to give you my grades. Sorry. So let's go quarterback. I'm going to go A-. I think he made all the right decisions. Could have completed a few more balls here and there, but I'm going A- for Will Howard. Running backs, I'm going C+. Some of that is on them. The pass protection numbers are horrific, so they got to be better all around. Tight ends, D+. A lot. They got to improve greatly in the blocking. And let's see, receivers, I'll go B+. Again, they could make some more plays in the offense. There were some pick plays that were missed. Jeremiah missed 1 or 2 on some routes. So yeah, I'll go B+ there. What else? O-line. I'll go B- just because Akron was loading the box on every play. It made the run game really tough, and having 2 brand new starters at guard is not ideal, so you're without your 3rd-year starter. So yeah, those are my grades. Please drop your grades in the comments and we'll compare and contrast those. So that's all I got for you today. We're talking defense tomorrow. Talk to you later. Go Bucks.